right, well, we can go ahead and get started. And for anyone that's new here, we will have this session recorded. So if anybody is not able to attend or they want to go back to the recording, we will share out the recording at the end of the, before the end of the week. But for those of you new here, my name is Brett Bowser. I'm on the Zendesk community team, and I will be your co-host today with Andrea. A big thank you for everyone for taking the time to come and talk with us and joining us for our third session of our post-relate deep dive. And today we will be focusing on platform. And Andrea, can you go to the next slide? Awesome. Also, we will be launching the Q&A session. So the chat is great for any sort of like fun talk that we have or that you want to share with other individuals in this session. But we will launch a separate Q&A section where we definitely encourage you to ask your questions as we're going through some of the slides that we're presenting in demos. We have some product experts here that will be able to answer those questions in the Q&A tab, which you will see at the bottom of your screen. Any questions that we see in chat, we might just point you towards the Q&A section just to make sure we're not missing any of those. And then if we find that there's a really good question that we want to answer live, that would be a best fit for sharing across the whole audience we have here, we will do that as well. Okay, so next up, we have our upcoming events for this. Oh, can you go back one more slide? There we go. Next up, we have our upcoming events. We have tomorrow, July 1st, we have our final step of our 5 steps to provide email support series. And so you can join this series to find out more about how to cover essential actions for launching your email support channel in Zendesk. This will include publishing channels and workflows, activating your email forwarding, importing a list of customers that you want added to your Zendesk account. This session will also include a live demo, as well as a Q&A session where our product experts will also answer your questions live. And then, awesome. We also have a user group. And as you can see here, I misspelled group, so ignore that part. But this is a customer-led session where you can join and talk with other Zendesk customers. And this one will focus on looking back and unlocking the future of customer experience, insight, and innovations. During this session, you will have a live demo of Zendesk's new open AI-powered tools. You will go through why human agents are not going extinct, but are getting smarter. And you'll have real-world guardrails and best practices to keep bots ethical and effective. And this is led by one of our user group leaders, Brandon Tidd. So if anybody is interested in connecting with other Zendesk users, feel free to click on that registration link that Andrea has included in the chat. Awesome. So yeah, today's speakers, we have myself, Andrea from product marketing, Vanessa from product marketing. We have Valerie, who is a product marketing specialist. And then we have JJ from our product management team talking with all of you today.
Awesome. Well, I can go ahead and take it on over from here, Brett. But hello, everyone. We are so pumped to be here with all of you today, especially as we're diving into some of the latest and greatest platform news that has come out since Relate. And obviously, it's been quite some time since March. But if you've been joining us on the post-Relate journey here in the community, you may already be familiar with the resolution platform that we had previously launched. But of course, if you're also just joining us, there's still a lot to look forward to. And that goes without saying that if there's one thing we can agree on, it's that AI has definitely transformed the way that we deliver customer and employee service within our own organizations, right? So much so, in fact, that customers are actually starting to keep score of whether or not your service is measuring up. And if we were to look at the numbers specifically, we're talking about 70% of customers saying that there is a widening gap between companies that are leveraging AI effectively and those that aren't. So what this means for you is that your ability to integrate AI is no longer just a competitive advantage, but rather a baseline expectation. And of course, as AI advances even further, there's going to be a distinction between optimizing for responses and actually driving resolutions, which means you're going to need a structured system that helps you move every challenge towards an actual resolution versus just closing out a ticket or deflecting it. So if you were joining in on us since Relay, you'll know that we announced the Zendesk resolution platform back in March. And what this really does is it builds on what Zendesk has already been doing well, like making service easy to use, easy to implement, and easy to see value from. Because as powerful as AI is, we know it can't do everything on its own, at least not yet. And in reality, it does need to work together with your human agents, your data, and all of your backend systems in order to reach those meaningful resolutions with, of course, that personal human touch. And if you've been staying up to date with us in the community since then, you'll know that there are 5 core components that are behind the resolution platform itself. Starting, of course, with our network of AI agents. And these are really agents that are purpose-built for every role and service, which means it's important that they have the right data to take action, which of course is where the knowledge graph comes in. Because by pulling together all the knowledge you have across all your systems, that ensures that your AI and your human agents have all the information they need to reach resolutions. And to do this, you're going to need built-in integrations and automations so that your agents can connect directly to those back-end systems. So rather than just escalating issues, they're actually solving them within their own workspaces. Now, we can't forget about how important measurements and insights are in this case, because ideally you should know whether or not your optimizations are working. And with Zendesk's tools, you are able to get visibility into performance so that you can continually optimize over time. And of course, last but certainly not least, we need to make sure that all of your interactions are secure, which is why governance and control is something that is embedded throughout the entire resolution platform. Now, some of our previous events have unpacked a few of these layers, so our goal today is not to be a broken record, but rather to really deep dive into those latter 3 sections. Specifically, what's new and coming in actions and integrations, measurements and insights, and governance and control. Starting with our actions and integrations. Now, I did recognize a few names in the chat there, so I know quite a few of you are really working with your teams behind the scenes to make sure that resolutions happen. And of course, in order to resolve issues, we know that AI and human agents alike need to take actions across many systems that are connected and integrated. And yet, too often we find that teams are still slowed down by either fragmented processes, isolated data silos, or just limited access to the right tools. So when we talk about actions and integrations, Zendesk is really thinking about how we can invest in you and make sure that you have the no-code, AI-driven solutions that you need to tackle complex problems, even when they involve other systems. One of the new releases that are coming up in this area is our new Action Builder, which is a no-code tool that makes it easy to automate resolutions across systems. Because if you think about it, when your AI and human agents can automatically take action to resolve issues across your backend systems, there's so much that you can do in order to reach faster resolutions. And with the Action Builder itself, you can do this by creating custom workflows, integrations, and automations that you can build and deploy yourself without any code, might I add. And really, the use cases here are incredibly powerful because, for example, by unifying your AI and human agents, you're able to streamline the work and make sure that everyone is working together to reach those faster, higher quality resolutions. And of course, when your service ecosystem is connected, you can imagine how much easier it is to deliver seamlessly personalized support when all of your data is working across your ecosystem. And of course, by giving your admins no-code tools to do all of this, you're giving them the autonomy to help your agents become more productive and help your organization be more efficient as well, preferably without having to add developer headcount or considering an additional third-party solution. But if there's one thing I say about the Action Builder quite often, and if you've joined in on some of our events, you'll know I say this as well, This is one of those features that really makes sense when you actually do see it in action. So we'll spend a majority of the time today in the builder itself. But before we do, I do want to set the stage a little bit. So let's say you're working with your IT team and you want to automate all the employee data requests that come in for specific areas of your database. Now, today, if an agent were to do this manually, they might review the ticket, figure out which data team owns which database, and then take the conversation out of Zendesk to kind of figure out what the timeline is and how they can get their employee the right access. Now, this process does work, but I think we can make this a little bit faster with the help of the Action Builder. So we're going to go ahead and dive into that use case and see how the Action Builder can work with AI scenarios like Copilot to meet a resolution. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in, starting, of course, in the admin center itself. Now, if you do happen to have the EAP in your accounts already, you can find the Action Builder under Action Flows in Apps and Integrations. And when you create a new flow, you can easily get that started. But in this case, I happen to have a flow already set up. Now, when you create your flows for the very first time, you'll see that everything that you create is going to start off with a trigger. And one exciting announcement that we've seen since Relate is that we now support user-based triggers as well. So in this case, you would be able to trigger workflows based off of changes to your customer profiles, employees, or even some of your support users as well. But of course, we also have triggers for Zendesk ticket events, like when a ticket is created or updated, or in our case today, we also have our Copilot trigger. Now, if you haven't seen this before, what we're essentially asking Copilot to do is to recommend this particular flow through Auto Assist, so that when it makes this recommendation to an agent and the agent approves that, that is when our flow kicks off. And one of the reasons why I love demoing this particular trigger is because there's so much that the Copilot trigger can do on your behalf. So for example, as a best practice, we always recommend having Copilot pull the Zendesk ticket ID, just so that you can refer back to it at later points in your action flow. And as you can see right here, I'm able to just set up this input with natural language, with a brief description, a recommendation on the formatting, and then we're done. But of course, I want AI to help me out a little bit more. So just for fun, I'm also going to add in inputs for a ticket summary, just so that my data team has some context into their request. I'm also going to ask Copilot to pull the employee's email before it proceeds, just in case the team has any follow-ups. Last but not least, I'm also going to add in the requested data set, just so that the team has that as well. But when you create inputs with Copilot, one thing to keep in mind is that it will make sure that all of this information is provided before it proceeds with our flow. And you can see in just a few steps how all of these inputs can come into play when it comes to customizing your operations. So with that, let's go ahead and start building onto this flow by adding a new step. As you can see on the right-hand side, the Action Builder does come with a range of pre-built action steps for you to choose from, which includes everything from conditional branching logic, even down to some Zendesk steps that you can take action on within our platform. But on that similar note, we also have external actions that are built into our pre-built set of connectors, which we will be diving into in just a moment. But if by chance you're seeing that maybe a system that you're using is not already pre-built with the Action Builder, you can also take advantage of our custom API actions. Now, for any Copilot users out there, you'll notice that these are the same types of actions that you've already created for Copilot. So this is a great way to repurpose those actions in the Action Builder itself. But if you don't have Copilot, don't worry. You still have access to these custom API actions if you're part of the EAP. But going back to our flow, one best practice that we typically recommend for your action flows is to always add this lookup ticket step. And that's largely so that you can refer back to information that is in your ticket. We'll see what that looks like, but for now, let's go ahead and set this up by adding our ticket ID. Now you might be wondering, how can we input a ticket ID if it's always changing, right? Well, that is where variables are going to come in. because similar to placeholders for macros, you can use these variables as a way to input or bring in information from your previous steps. So in this case, we're telling the action builder to refer back to the ticket ID that triggered our flow in the first place. And of course, once that's set up, we can start using this ticket information in our following steps. For example, let's say we're connecting to Jira to create a new issue for our data team, right? Well, when you connect with Jira, it's as easy as logging into your account, authenticating yourself, and then coming back to the action builder to use some of the pre-built action steps. And as you can see right here, it's pretty easy for me to connect to my data team's account, maybe customize the issue according to how our two teams prefer to work together. And as you can see right here in this lookup ticket step, I'm able to pull in all this information from my ticket, like let's say the ticket subject and maybe even the ID. But of course, we also ask Copilot to pull some of that information for us as well. So you can see here how I'm also able to bring in that employee email that we pulled in earlier from Copilot, that data set that's requested, as well as that summary. And as I do that, you'll notice that no coding has been involved so far, from the integration to the actual customization of the issue itself. So while we can end the flow here, that's not fun, right? So let's imagine that you want to notify your teams through Slack that a new Jira issue has been submitted to their project. Well, traditionally, if you wanted to add a second or third system into your flow, you may have had to create a new integration or even a new trigger. But with the Action Builder, adding in a third system like Slack is as easy as selecting the pre-built connector, logging in, and once again, opting in to fill in your pre-built action step. Now, in this case, I'm just going to put in this little placeholder, but we'll see in a little minute how all of this comes together. But one other question that we have been getting since we launched at Relate is, how will agents know what actions were performed on their behalf? Well, on the product side, we are working on a way to make sure that your action flow actions are visible within the ticket interface itself. In the meantime, what you can do is to add a step like this update ticket step. And what this does is that it updates the ticket that trigger the flow so that you can, let's say, outline the actions that were performed on the agent's behalf. And once again, I'm just going to put in a brief placeholder, make that internal note, and of course, we're done. But one exciting enhancement that we've made since Relate is the ability to test flows within the builder itself. And to see this, we do need to be in an active flow. So I'm going to just pop on over to the flow that we already have created, and you can see it matches exactly what we've already built out, including the inputs, the lookup ticket step. You can see the fleshed out Jira issue we have, as well as those Slack and ticket steps as well. And when you test within the builder, you will need to have an open ticket open for reference. In this case, I have one open with a colleague named Alex who needs customer data for a project. All right. So you can see here how I'm adding some of the inputs in for this particular task. But of course, if you already have a ticket available, you can also copy and paste that information in. And with this new testing capability, you are able to see all these steps as they're built out. And if you happen to hear in the back, don't worry, that Slack notification was for me, because you can also see in your actual systems what these tests look like. So in this case, we can see this message from Alex, and we can also pop into Jira to see all of those inputs that I have just created. But of course, just to see it really quickly within an actual ticket, including with Copilot, you can see how an email request that's similar to this appears with that auto assist recommendation. So similar to what we've seen before, except this time we have Copilot recommending that particular flow. So really from an agent perspective, it's as easy as approving the flow and having Action Builder follow all of those action steps. And then similar to what you saw before, we now have that internal note, which we can navigate into. And of course, we now have, oh, that shouldn't have happened. But now we can see in this case, we have this new Jira issue that is now assigned to Brett. Now, of course, this is only one of the many use cases that we have for the Action Builder. So if you are interested in joining the EAP, you can sign up by scanning the QR code that's right over here. And we'd especially like to hear from you if you do happen to be using Salesforce, Jira, Slack, Google Sheets, or OpenAI for your service operations. But while you get that set up, I'm sure you might be thinking, oh, wow, this is so useful for backend operations, but what about the agent experience? How can I make sure that my agents can interact as seamlessly with our external systems as the Action Builder? Well, depending on your business needs, I'm sure you might have thought about a custom application at some point. But when you think about a custom application, you're also probably thinking about the number of developers you'll need and the level of programming skills that your team might need to have if you wanted to whip something up. But in reality, we know that a vast majority of service teams don't have that in-house expertise. And as convenient as outsourcing is, that can be quite costly and time-consuming. So in response to this challenge that our customers are seeing, we were so excited to announce the App Builder at Relate earlier this year. Because with the App Builder, admins can use natural language conversations to build and deploy apps that give agents the context they need, of course, without any code. And really hone in on that productivity aspect even further, the apps that you create in the App Builder are ready to use in the agent workspace within minutes. So if you happen to have that unique use case in the back of your mind, or if you're simply wanting to just improve your team's productivity, the no-code app builder is designed just for that. But of course, let's unpack this a little bit more, right? Because if you think about it, any idea that you create can be transformed into a functioning app simply by having a conversation, similar to what you may have with a developer on your team, or maybe even a colleague. And of course, when your agents have tools that are purpose-built for them, for their workflows, for their integrations, and for their workflows, you can imagine how much more productive that they can be instead of swiveling back and forth between systems. And of course, that ultimately makes your team more agile, especially if you take into account the fact that you can natively test, iterate, and deploy these apps straight into the agent workspace from the admin center. But of course, like I said before, seeing is only believing, so enough talking. Unfortunately, our colleague Paul couldn't make it here today to do a live demonstration of the app builder, but he's made a short and sweet demonstration that walks us through 2 different use cases that you can build out today. And this is probably one of my favorite demonstrations by far because you can really see how it can be used for Zendesk specific processes, as well as processes that might involve another tool. So with that, we'll go ahead and have Paul take it away after I get his demo set up. So just give me 1 second, and then we will be back on our program. All right, let's get started.
Hey everyone, today I'm excited to show you just how creative you can be with Zendesk App Builder. We've heard it before, building custom apps can be costly and time-consuming, but it doesn't have to be. Now, Zendesk admins can quickly build the apps they need, no developers, delays, or blockers. It's fast, it's AI-powered, and it's built right into Zendesk. Plus, it's now available in early access. With App Builder, you can integrate complex workflows across your business, design connected apps with more flexibility than out-of-the-box marketplace options, fill in product gaps, automate data cleanup, or pull in third-party information fast, rapidly build a proof of concept or MVP, and deploy actions automatically via triggers or as AI-powered suggestions. Let's look at 2 ways Zendesk App Builder can make agent workflows both easier and smarter. First, we'll build an app that uses Zendesk historical data, and then we'll build another that integrates with Shopify in real time. As you can see, it's now possible to manage your app building projects from a centralized place, so you can work on more than one at a time. Let's jump into our first app that we started. Say we were working on giving agents easier access to customer satisfaction scores and trends. With just a few prompts, we can build an app that surfaces customer satisfaction history directly to agents. Agents can instantly see now how customers rated past interactions and check out satisfaction comments and progression over time, guiding them to deliver an even better experience next time. We can preview changes as we adjust with new prompts, making it easy to perfect our app as we go. And just like that, an app that might have taken a developer a week to create is now ready in a matter of seconds. Once I publish it and install my custom app, agents will have a slick, interactive dashboard to spot trends, anticipate needs, and raise their game without ever leaving their agent workspace. But what if the information agents need lives outside Zendesk? No problem. App Builder is just as powerful when it comes to integrating into your other platforms as well. Let's see this in action with Shopify. With just a prompt or two, App Builder is able to build an app that gives agents access to your Shopify store's key info, active products, recent orders, and gift cards, all in one view. No more switching tabs or tools. This means agents have everything they need right when customers need it. It's faster, more tailored support, and customer privacy is always maintained. As you can see, App Builder gives you the power to create time-saving, insight-driven tools that fit your team's exact needs. With just a few prompts and intuitive settings, you can bring new workflows to life and keep agents focused on what matters most, delivering fast, personalized support without skipping a beat. Thanks for joining me. We can't wait to see what else you create with App Builder.
Amazing. A virtual round of applause for Paul, who couldn't make it. Now, I'm sure, as you saw, there's so much that you can do here. So you might be wondering, how exactly can you get access to this amazing new feature, right? Well, the good news is, as of today, the App Builder is in an open EAP. So yes, that means if you were on our waitlist before, you should have access to the App Builder now. And if you haven't joined the waitlist before, you can once again scan this QR code, or I believe we should be dropping a link in the chat as well. And once you sign up, you can expect to receive access to the App Builder within 2 business days. And I'm sure once you do get access, you'll want to know how your agent's productivity evolves, right? Well, resolution platform, we are making it easier for teams to move from data to action, because really support admins are juggling a lot. They're sifting through scattered data, they're trying to spot trends, and they're optimizing workflows from scratch. But with Zendesk's new AI-powered measurement and insight tools, you can ensure you're driving impactful resolutions across your business. So Vanessa, why don't you tell us how real-time monitoring can help?
I would love to. Thanks, Andrea. And hello, everyone. Tough act to follow, but I think you all will be really excited about real-time monitoring. I know I am. So that is what we're going to be speaking about today. And really, with real-time monitoring, you can get instant omni-channel insights into the entire ticket lifecycle across email, messaging, and voice. And then following the initial release, we'll start to incorporate select WFM and QA metrics into those dashboards so you can see a clear picture of performance in one unified workspace. So with this centralized view, you can make informed decisions about tickets and agents that cut wait times and improve agent performance. Real-time monitoring will start with 3 omni-channel dashboards based on common service use cases. And the first 3 dashboards will be focused on incoming tickets, ticket progress, and agent productivity. We know that customer conversations now span multiple channels, time periods, and teams, and our monitoring offerings should reflect this nuance to support proactive, timely decision-making. With advanced drill down and multi-filtering capabilities, you can easily uncover the root causes behind changes in your data to help you take that timely action that you heard about from Andrea. And you'll also be able to see real-time data alongside historical data in the same dashboards, so you can discern data anomalies from regular trends. But what results can you expect from real-time monitoring? We know when it comes to your data, it really comes down to results and the actions you can take. So you can expect to improve service operations across the board by making smarter, faster, data-driven decisions with all of your most important metrics in one spot. And whether you're serving customers or employees, satisfaction goes up because you'll be able to identify opportunities quickly that result in higher quality, faster resolutions. And lastly, but importantly, with the agent productivity dashboard, you can get a granular view of performance and I quickly identify those opportunities for agent coaching for more efficient workflows. All right. Well, you've heard what's coming, but I would love to show you what's coming with a demo. So let's go ahead and get that screen up so you all can see. Give me 1 second. Righty. Okay, so you just heard about 3 dashboards, and we want to show you how to monitor and take action on customer and employee activity throughout the entire ticket lifecycle. So we're going to be looking at all 3. And here you can see that we've created a new section for monitoring within Zendesk Analytics. And here we're looking at monitoring home, which is a unified view of your most important metrics to monitor from across the ticket lifecycle. And then from monitoring home, you'll have direct access to specialized dashboards with detailed insights into both ticket lifecycle as well as agent productivity. Today, we want to start with the incoming tickets dashboard. So I've gone ahead and clicked in there. And this dashboard will help team leads boost team efficiency with real-time queue insights. For instance, suppose I need to know how many tickets are waiting in my most critical queues. Well, using filters, I can quickly isolate the queues that I care most about. You can see the data has now been reflected from that filter I just applied. I might also want to change the recent historical data filter to compare to a broader time period. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust this to the past 7 days. And this way I can compare real-time data to the past week to understand what's happening now compared to what's happened recently. So now I can see that there are 35 messaging tickets waiting here. And this is helpful information, but again, I want to compare real-time performance to the past 7 days, so I can use these recent historical visualizations to compare and get key context. And within seconds, I can see how many tickets entered, exited, or stayed in a queue over the past 7 days. And this helps me spot trends and compare what I'm seeing in real time. I also want to get some more details about the types of tickets that are being opened. So you can see I can drill into this chart directly to get key information about these tickets, like ticket IDs and wait times. And I can do this all directly from the dashboard. And you can see here too that I can even get details about individual tickets just by clicking on a ticket ID to open it directly. This gives me access to more context and the option to manually reassign or assign this ticket as I need. All right, now we are back in monitoring home and we have a better understanding of the ticket backlog, but we want to start tracking tickets that have already been resolved. So for this, we are going to head over to the ticket progress dashboard, the second dashboard of 3. So here I can see all tickets grouped by channel and current status. For example, I can instantly see that I have 267 open messaging tickets here. To get more context, I drill into this data and I see vital information such as the agent working on each ticket and performance metrics like first response time. Using filters, I could even do something like focus on individual agents or groups to help me understand who's tackling what and spot if anyone needs support. I'm going to exit out of this drill in now. And similarly to how we did on incoming tickets, I can also monitor trends with these recent historical graphs. And I can look at how many new tickets came in, how many were resolved, and the statuses and how the statuses have changed over the past few hours, which again, and this is a theme, will help me contextualize what's happening right now. All right, well, that was a quick overview of ticket progress dashboard. And last but certainly not least, I want to go ahead and look at agent productivity because I want to see what my agents are working on and also gauge overall capacity. So on this dashboard, I get detailed information about how my agents are spending their time. For instance, I'm scrolling down here to look at the agent table. We see where we can see individual agent workloads. And here, I want to start noticing some details. For instance, I see that Ada is online and she is currently at full capacity. So that gives me good insight not to assign her any more tickets. Whereas Ben is online, but I see he has some available capacity here. So if I needed to reassign tickets or assign new tickets, I would know that Ben is a good candidate for that. And then I see a bit of an issue with Frank because Frank has been offline for over 3 hours. And then when I look at his capacity, I do see that he has a ticket assigned to him. So I might want to take a look at that ticket and ensure that ticket is not urgent. If it is urgent, then I might need to reassign it to someone who is online. And I do know from my previous analysis that Ben might be a great candidate to reassign that ticket. Okay, so we've already gotten some insights, but I might need some additional insights here. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top of this dashboard, and I want to get a better idea of who is online to help me address my voice queue. So I'm going to go ahead and click in on these agents to get more information. And I see they're all in different statuses, and I do know that I have a fairly hefty voice queue right now. So I might want to take an action like changing their status to online to help me better address that backlog. And that brings us to the end of our demo, but I hope you've gotten some good ideas on how to use real-time monitoring to get better visibility into every critical aspect of your contact center, from ticket backlog to tickets in progress to agent productivity. Because with powerful dashboards and drill down features, I can monitor, investigate, and take action on potential issues before they impact customer experience. This ensures my team stays productive and customer issues get resolved as efficiently as possible. So we hope you're as excited about this functionality as we are. And with that, I will stop sharing and we can go ahead and go back to the slides where we are going to pull up the EAP QR code. So if you are interested in joining our EAP, you can sign up by scanning this QR code above. We're also going to drop the link into the chat. So if that's easier for you, feel free to click that link. And again, we will be opening up this EAP to all customers with Pro Plus plans in late July. So if this is something that you are interested in, please go ahead and scan this QR code. You will not want to miss it. It will be a game changer for real-time visibility into your service operations. So I'll pause here for a moment so you can scan the code. And with that, I am going to hand it over to Valerie and team to talk about governance and control.
All right, thank you, Vanessa. That is also a tough act to follow, but I would take it over from here for our governance and control section. Well, in today's landscape, a great customer experience must be both connected and secure. The amount of customer data businesses need to manage is rapidly growing, making it really essential to integrate all this data across key systems. Now, this ensures that all teams have the shared context that they need to deliver seamless, connected experiences. However, at the same time, maintaining privacy and security has never been more critical as consumer expectations, cyber threats, and privacy regulations continue to evolve. So in order to meet these needs, we're focusing on building tools that help you connect your systems, streamline workflows, and safeguard sensitive information with enterprise-grade security measures. And with our trigger-based redaction powered by AI-driven PII detection, you can easily protect data privacy at scale. So automatic redaction with triggers ensures that sensitive information in customer and employee tickets is consistently identified and securely removed, which gives you peace of mind and reliable protection every time. You can also customize business rules to fit your unique workflows, deciding exactly what data to redact and when, so your team can tailor privacy controls to your organization's needs without missing a beat. In addition, with automation, you can minimize manual redaction, which reduces a human error and keeps compliance front and center so that your team stays efficient while safeguarding sensitive data effortlessly. And next, currently in EAP, our new role-based permissions feature puts you in control of sensitive data by automatically masking PII, like names, emails, and phone numbers based on user roles. So with built-in info boxes, your team stays informed on data privacy implications as they work. Additionally, sensitive customer info stays protected across views, exports, ticketing interfaces, and even guide manager screens, so you can deliver that secure privacy experience without slowing down your support operations. Now, like I mentioned, this feature is currently an EAP, so we will drop the EAP form in the chat so you can sign up if you're interested in this feature. And that's not all. So at Zendesk, we're making it easier for you to test, adapt, and scale your server's operations with confidence. Beginning earlier this year and continuing, we are expanding our Sandbox and change management capabilities to help teams reduce risk and move faster, all without testing in production. So with that, we are introducing new change management capabilities that allow you to safely manage changes using version snapshots of your configurations across different environments. So what does this look like? This includes the abilities to, number one, inspect your full setup at a glance to make smarter, safer changes. You can lock in your best setup with version snapshots. And you can also see what's changed between versions by comparing configuration changes. And in a future EAP, we will also be rolling out the ability to deploy these changes across your environments as well. Together, these updates give you the tools to innovate confidently, testing, iterating, and launching with ease. Like I mentioned, this is currently an EAP, and we will drop the link in the chat if you're interested. And with that, we'll transition over to the live Q&A.
All right. Thank you, Valerie, Andrea, Vanessa. So yeah, we can go ahead and get started with our Q&A. We've gotten a lot of questions from you when you first registered for this event. So we're going to start with those questions. And then if we have any time at the end of the event and anybody has any questions that they want to share in the Q&A chat, we're happy to try to address those as well. So we can go ahead and jump into the first question. All right, well, first question is for JJ from Richard. What kind of apps can I build with the app builder? What are some real life examples that other customers have built?
Good question, Richard. So as you know, apps are essentially boxes in Zendesk support that contains any Zendesk that contains code, right? So technically you could put anything you want in there. Their iframes consisted of custom code. We see customers typically making two types of apps. One, apps that show data from external systems and allow agents to manipulate that data depending on their customer CX workflows. The other type of app is apps that just show data from different parts of Zendesk. So both these use cases ultimately reduce the agent's need to share swivel, which is constantly context switching between Zendesk and many other applications, windows, tabs, just to provide service and support to their customers. So ideally, Zendesk should show agents the right data and tools that they need to do their work, all within Zendesk. So any Zendesk app that a software developer could build, App Builder could build as well. And some live examples we've seen of apps built in the field are Comcast, a large internet and service provider, ended up building an assignee change tracker app that shows agents who were all the previous assignees of the ticket in one view. It took them about 30 minutes to vibe code this app, and it's now live in their production instance today. And their agents were able to see this information already before the app in the event log, but they'd have to spend minutes on each ticket just to figure out all the previous assignees, since the event log contains everything. So minutes saved on each ticket equates to millions of dollars of operational efficiency gains in the long run. Another company, Lice, a large telco in Norway, they built an integration with their internal troubleshooting service, Harmony. And so this app displays a richer set of customer metadata directly from Harmony, so that the agents don't have to share swivel between Zendesk and Harmony on each ticket to provide service to their customers.
Awesome. Thank you, JJ. And great question, Richard. Next question is for Andrea from Chad. Is it possible to filter tickets by tag? For example, if a ticket is created, could I branch and filter a specific tag before applying an action?
I feel like I saw this question coming when we received it, but right now this isn't a feature that's currently supported, but the good news is that it is under development. So if you're in our EAP, you know that we've been aiming to have monthly releases. And so in a few weeks, this is one of the updates that we plan to include within the Action Builder. So this includes launch support for ticket tags and array data types with triggers, actions, and branching conditions, in addition to some support for custom fields, filtering conditions for triggers, and the ability to return outputs to Copilot. So again, if you're in the AP, definitely stay tuned for our next update in the community thread.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrea. Next question is for Vanessa from Rohan. What types of data is included in the 3 dashboards?
Yeah, absolutely. I love this question. And hopefully, to some extent, it was answered with the demo. However, I want to be explicit about the types of data. So let's talk about it for a moment. So the 3 dashboards will include data from across suite channels. So that includes email, messaging, and voice. And then after we release GA, we'll incorporate select WFM and QA metrics into those 3 dashboards, which will allow you to see all of your most important KPIs from across channels in one place. So more information to come there, but at a high level, that's the types of data that will be included. And then I did want to add, I think it's worth mentioning that we recently hosted a product insights exchange, which deep dove into the types of data you'll see. And we also collected feedback from customers like you. So if you're interested in watching that recording, I think we will be dropping it into the chat. So check it out.
Awesome. And yes, I did share the recording in chat for anyone that's interested. Next question is for JJ from Andy. Can I customize the source code of the app directly in the app builder?
Good question, Andy. So sort of. So you could export the app code and continue developing it locally on your own in your own IDEs and dev tools. So this is ideal if you want full control over the logic, styling, or API integrations, or just app builder just can't do everything that you ask for it to do. And so we're starting to see a model emerge where customers are making low to medium complexity apps end to end, basically from idea conception to creation to deployment, directly all on App Builder. And for very complex app use cases, some customers end up doing 80% of the vibe coding on App Builder and then finish out the remaining 20% through custom dev. So, but our goal is to have all apps generate end to end through App Builder, and we're working with Anthropic and OpenAI to continually improve their coding models.
All right. Next question is for Andrea. Are there plans to integrate the Action Builder with Microsoft Teams?
The answer is absolutely. We are aiming to have a Teams connector available when we do launch later this year, but I will take this opportunity to shout out that if you do have connectors that you are looking for, do let us know by posting in the AP community, or if you notice during the demo, you do also have links to our request forms within the Action Builder itself. So that is a great way to let us know what you're looking for, because one thing that we prioritize is making sure that we have the integrations that you need to do your work efficiently. So yes, on Microsoft Teams, it's coming soon. But in the meantime, do let us know if there are any other integrations that we don't have yet.
Thank you. Next question is for Vanessa from Ava. Will the new dashboards be customizable?
Great question, Ava. So at the time of launch, the dashboards will not be customizable, but customers will still be able to use filters and drill into data like you saw me do in the demo today. And then, of course, we know how important customization is and the ability to kind of tailor insights to your unique business. So it's absolutely planned for after GA.
Awesome. Good question, Ava. Next question. What's the difference between data redaction and data masking? And this question's for Valerie.
Awesome. Thank you, Maria. That's a great question. Well, so the difference is that, number one, data redaction permanently deletes the sensitive information from tickets or records in Zendesk so that it can never be viewed or recovered by anyone. So it's irreversible, essentially. On the flip side, data masking hides or obscures the sensitive information from certain agent rules in the UI, but the data still exists in Zendesk, and so it can be revealed to those with the right permissions. So in a nutshell, one is irreversible and one is reversible.
All right. Next question for JJ from Paul. Are there plans to integrate App Builder with Action Builder integrations?
Indeed. So if you map out the functionality of App Builder and Action Builder, it's kind of like a Venn diagram, right? Complementary, shares a margin of overlap, but generally does different things. And so there are plans to integrate App Builder with Action Builder. And so today, App Builder could integrate with third-party SaaS software, as long as that third-party SaaSware has two things: a way to authenticate via API tokens. OAuth is not supported on App Builder yet, but will be in the future. And two, publicly available API documentation on the internet, so that goes over what API endpoints and events are available to hit. So App Builder could also integrate with second-party software or internal/proprietary/homegrown software, as long as that software has API tokens for App Builder to connect to. So both of these, App Builder integrating into third-party and second-party software, they're done through kind of a probabilistic manner, which means that we've seen success in the field of customers connecting, but there's also the chance of App Builder not getting it right in the first attempt, because App Builder is powered by LLMs under the hood. So integrating App Builder with Action Builder in the future will make it foolproof for App Builder to connect with second and third-party software through introducing determinism. So it'll work every time. Admins configure actions on Action Builder, and then App Builder creates apps that reference and invoke those actions.
Great. Thank you, JJ. Next question is for Andrea. Is Zendesk mapping the Action Builder's trigger abilities to existing triggers? If so, how will they show up in the Action Builder?
This one is a really interesting question because there is overlapping functionality in the sense that the triggers that we are building out in the builder are meant to align with what you currently have available, but the products are still separate. So for example, if you create certain triggers, or if you have a set of triggers already, those won't necessarily appear in the builder itself. So I think normally what we tend to recommend, if you're choosing between a regular trigger versus the Action Builder, something to consider is that, one, Action Builder is definitely suitable for those multi-step workflows that may require multiple systems, as you just saw in that demo from earlier. But right now, there is one limitation to be aware of, and that is the fact that you can make up to 10 flows during the EAP. So again, we do tend to recommend using those flows for more complex systems. But if you have more one-off flows that don't require another system, or they don't require multiple actions, that's still a use case for some of our more traditional triggers.
Awesome. Thank you. We do have about 15 minutes left, so I'm going to just rapid fire these questions. And we will go ahead and jump to the next one for Vanessa. Who will have access to real-time monitoring?
Luckily, this is a very quick one. So any customer with Pro Plus plans, with one important note that omni-channel routing must be enabled for customers to use the incoming tickets dashboard specifically, which is the first dashboard you saw. So did want to call that out.
Sounds good. Next question is for Valerie. What types of data can be masked with data masking?
Yeah, great question. So data masking can be applied to sensitive information like name, email, and phone number.
Perfect. All right. Next question for JJ. How much does the app builder cost?
Yeah, previously for the past 4 months, you needed to have the Copilot add-on enabled in your account to access App Builder. But as of this morning, when we launched OpenAP, and we got everyone off the wait list. So if you were on the wait list, as Andrea mentioned, you should have access now in your account. We also, as of this morning, you don't need the Copilot add-on. So App Builder is available to everyone for free on the suite or on support. You need to have Agent Workspace on, of course. So you can vibe code and deploy as many apps as you want to your Sandbox or production instance to your heart's content for free. And when we launch App Builder out to GA in October this year, how much will that cost? Well, we're still deciding on pricing. We're considering on keeping it free. No promises, no guarantees. As you know, our leadership team believes that easy access around making apps and integrations are table stakes to the company. But things may change, so make as many apps as you want right now.
Awesome. Who doesn't like free? Next question. Where do I start if I want to try App Builder?
Sign up on our EAP forum, which we shared if you scroll one more slide, Brett, and you'll get access in under 2 business days. Again, assuming you're a Zendesk customer on Suite or support and on Agent Workspace, which I believe most folks in this crowd are. We have Help Center articles published that go over sample prompts that you could use to start. But the best way to start is just start talking to App Builder, right? You can think of it as your junior developer, but you don't have to pay $150K a year for it. Try to be descriptive around explaining the idea you have in your head, and be patient. Sometimes many iterations are required, but it's often faster and cheaper than hiring a human developer. We also have sample prompts that you can directly click on right inside App Builder to start generating code right away for inspiration.
All right. Next question for Andrea. If I update a ticket with the Action Builder, will that count towards my API rate limit?
I will rapid fire this. So any actions that happen within Zendesk will not count towards your API limits. But if you do have any external API calls to an external system, those will.
Makes sense. Next question is for Vanessa. Are there any limitations with real-time monitoring?
Yes. So the biggest thing to note is what we already talked about is customization. But as we talked about, you'll still be able to use those filters and drill into data, which will allow you to kind of tailor that view to your business needs. And I do want to mention that you can add as many filters as you need, which allows you to really zero in on the specific part of the business that you're focused on any given moment, given the data is changing consistently with real-time monitoring.
Awesome. And I believe the next question is for you, Vanessa.
Awesome.
When will real-time monitoring be available?
Okay, great question. So real-time monitoring, again, will be available to all Pro Plus support and suite plans in September of this year in terms of GA. However, you can sign up for the EAP and get access in late July. So that's that form that's already been shared in chat. And then it will be accessible through Zendesk Analytics as you saw today, but we are creating that dedicated new section that you saw to for real-time monitoring. So yeah, we're really excited.
Awesome. Thank you. Question for Andrea. Could you share documentation on how we could integrate with the Action Builder so our new action, or so our own action is available in the builder?
Yes, I am about to drop in a link in the chat that tells you how you can create your own custom API action. But if by chance this is referring to the ability to create a custom connector with your own set of actions, that is something that we are planning to launch closer to our GA date, which is also going to be in October.
Sounds good. Our final question for the day, where is for Valerie, where will data masking be available?
Yeah, the data masking is currently in EAP stage. Like we mentioned earlier, we did drop the EAP form in the chat. It will be planned for GA in Q4 this year.
Great. All right. So it doesn't look like we've gotten any questions in the Q&A. So I guess we can go ahead and close this out. Thank you so much to everyone who was able to attend today. And also thank you to our presenters. Thank you to anybody who is going to be watching this recording on YouTube. We're happy to have you here, answer your questions, and give you a sneak peek at what's coming. And we will be sharing the recording as well as a quick summary of everything that we've covered today in a post-event email, either before end of week this week or early next week. So stay tuned for that. All right. Sounds good. Thank you all.
Thank
Hope
you.
you all have a good rest of your day.